A lot of new prep for this, yeah, absolutely. This is a whole different ballgame.
What kind of went into it?
What went into the prep?
Yeah.
I think probably, our team, again, this is, when you're talking about getting used to the SEC, you're talking about your opponents, new venues that I haven't been to, the team itself, you're away from them for a long time, right? You haven't been with them other than, really spring practice, because you've spent most of your time recruiting. I think if you look at my time spent, I think most of my time is spent recruiting other players other than those that are on my current roster. So just making sure that I'm familiar with what my team looks like that we're rolling out onto the field, that's been most of my time.
Do you kind of use this date now as like the signal of, okay, now we're going, now it's for real, or is there some breathing room between now and the start of camp?
For me, I think it's been, this year, there's never been a full disengagement because there's so many moving parts relative to that first year. But I would say that in other years, as you get to the last or near the end of July, you kind of look at like media day and go, okay, time to start getting your thoughts ready for the season. So for me, this is a little bit unusual in that I don't know that I've been in the office at least a couple of times each week in the month of July.
Can you maybe speak to just the job the recruiting staff has done the last several weeks? I mean, there's been some pretty serious movement in the L's recruiting class in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so it's the residual efforts of really our entire staff, coaches, recruiting staff, really the entire university. President Tate's been involved, Scott Woodward, our academic people have been amazing. So, when you talk about recruiting, sometimes it just gets focused, and I know how you guys are single-minded focus on particular coaches and how they recruit, and they obviously should be, lauded for that, but there are so many pieces, and a lot of this is the work that was done, primarily in April, May, and in particular June. As you know, we had, I think, 26 or 27 official visits. So now you're starting to see what we felt needed to be a high success ratio based upon the number of visits that you actually get now. Remember now, with unlimited in terms of initials, you have to be very careful now with your official visits because your success ratio has to be much higher because of that.
So when it comes to fall camp, I mean, what changes when you start looking at the quarterback race? Like, how do you change practice to kind of actually figure it out?
Yeah, so that's a good question, right? We were laying down the offense in spring ball. So it was installation of the offense in spring. And so it wasn't setting the offense to any particular skill set of the quarterback. Where now that we've installed, we'll go back and be much more focused on those pieces of the offense that hit the skill set of the particular quarterbacks. And then that's where some separation will start to show itself. So the difference being in the spring, laying down the offense where maybe some parts of that installation doesn't fit a particular quarterback, we'll now lay those pieces down for the skill set of that particular quarterback.
How challenging is that with three quarterbacks that are so different in styles and strengths?
I think there's four that are different,
Yeah, four, yeah.
Actually, and adding Walker to that. And I think we have to be mindful of it and intentional, but I think that's it. Once we're mindful and intentional, we'll be fine.
Coach can take one more before he's got to start his rotation.
What group do you think, position group, leads to the fastest acceleration between now and the start of the season?
Well, I mean, if I had to point to one, I pointed to the offensive line. We've got to bring that group together. I believe that the success of our football team will start in the end with the offensive line and our ability to control the line of scrimmage.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.